The first shots came exactly 12 hours after the alien message. Captain Elena Rodriguez watched from the bridge of her destroyer as the alien fleet moved forward like a perfect wall of death. Every ship stayed in exactly the right place. Every movement was smooth and planned. "They fight like robots," said her weapons officer, Lieutenant Sam Cooper. He was young and had never been in a real battle before, but his hands were steady on his controls. "That might be their weakness," Elena said. She had been fighting pirates and smugglers for 10 years. She knew that perfect plans usually broke down when the shooting started. The alien ships fired first. Beams of bright energy reached across space and hit the human fleet. 3 ships exploded immediately. Elena watched good people die in seconds. "Return fire," she ordered. "All weapons." The human ships shot back, but their weapons barely scratched. The alien shields. It was like throwing rocks at a tank. The aliens kept coming forward, shooting steadily. More human ships died. "Captain," Sam called out, "my fighter is damaged. Life support is failing." Elena looked at the young man. He was scared, but trying not to show it. His small fighter had taken a direct hit and was leaking air into space. In a few minutes, he would be dead. "Get back to the ship," Elena ordered. "That's an order, Lieutenant." Sam looked at his controls. Then he looked at the alien fleet. The biggest ship was in the center, directing all the others. It was probably their command ship. "Sorry, Captain," Sam said. "I have a better idea." Before Elena could stop him, Sam turned his damaged fighter toward the alien command ship. He pushed his engines to maximum power and flew straight at the enemy. "This is Cooper," his voice came over the radio. "Tell my wife I love her. Tell her we didn't give up." Sam's fighter smashed into the alien command ship like a bullet. The explosion was huge. It tore through the alien shields and ripped a hole in their hull. Pieces of the ship spun away into space. Elena stared at the screen. Sam was dead, but he had hurt the enemy. One human fighter had damaged their biggest ship. "All ships," Elena called on the radio. "Did you see that? We can hurt them. Ram them if you have to. Make every shot count." Across the battlefield, other human captains heard the message. Captain Danny Mitchell on the cruiser Independence saw his ship taking heavy damage. Instead of retreating, he aimed at an alien battleship. "All hands, prepare for collision," Danny announced to his crew. "We're going to hurt these bastards." The Independence slammed into the alien ship at full speed. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire. But the aliens lost a battleship that was worth 10 human cruisers. Commander Vex Halar watched the battle from his flagship. He could not understand what he was seeing. The humans were losing badly, but they kept fighting. Worse, they were destroying their own ships to damage his fleet. "Sir," his tactical officer said, "we have lost 17 ships in 1 hour. The humans are ramming us with their damaged vessels." Vex Halar's compound eyes reflected his confusion. In 3,000 years of war, no species had ever done this. When ships were damaged, they retreated to fight another day. They didn't fly straight into enemy vessels like missiles. "Are they malfunctioning?" Vex Halar asked. "Are their pilots losing control of their ships?" "No, sir," the tactical officer replied. "They are doing it on purpose. They are talking to each other on open channels. They are planning these attacks." Vex Halar listened to the human radio chatter. The voices were calm and determined. These pilots knew they were going to die. They were choosing to die, and they seemed happy about it. "Independence is gone, but they took out a battleship," one human pilot reported. "Vengeance is moving in for another ram attack." "Good hunting, Vengeance," another voice replied. "Save some aliens for the rest of us." Vex Halar felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. Not fear of dying, but fear of fighting an enemy that acted like madness itself. Captain Julie Barnes commanded the frigate Vengeance. Her ship was small and fast, designed for scouting missions. Against the alien battleships, it should have been helpless. But Julie had an idea. "Helm, take us in fast and random," she ordered. "Don't fly straight. Spin us around. Make it impossible for them to target us. The Vengeance began moving in ways that made no sense. It rolled and twisted through space like a drunken bird. The alien targeting computers couldn't lock on to something that moved so unpredictably. Weapons. Fire everything we have, Julie called. Out. Don't aim for their strong spots. Hit their sensors and communication equipment. The small human ship danced between the giant alien vessels, shooting at parts that looked important. The aliens tried to hit it, but their perfect targeting systems were designed for enemies that moved in straight lines. Other human captains saw what Julie was doing. Soon the entire human fleet was moving in crazy patterns. Some ships flew backwards while shooting. Others spun like tops while dodging enemy fire. A few played loud music while twisting through the alien formation. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their whole military was based on order and discipline. Every ship had its place in the formation. Every attack was carefully planned. But the humans fought like wild animals. Sir, the alien tactical officer reported to Vex Haller. Our targeting systems cannot lock onto their ships. They are moving in completely random patterns. How can they coordinate attacks if they move randomly? Vex Haller demanded. They are not coordinating, sir. Each ship is acting independently. There is no central command telling them what to do. Vex Haller felt his world turning upside down. How could an army fight without orders? How could ships work together if no one was in charge? It was impossible. It was chaos. But it was working. The humans were still losing ships, but they were making the aliens pay a terrible price. Every human ship that died took at least one alien ship with it. Sometimes they took 2 or 3. Captain Rodriguez was still alive on her destroyer. Her ship was badly damaged, but she kept fighting. She watched a human cargo ship called the Big Dog fly straight through the middle of the alien formation. "What are you doing, Big Dog?" Elena called on the radio. "We're full of mining explosives, Captain," the cargo ship replied. "Thought the aliens might like a present." The Big Dog exploded in the center of the alien fleet. The mining explosives were designed to break apart asteroids. They tore through 6 alien ships at once. Elena smiled. The cargo ship crew had died, but they had hurt the enemy badly. That was what humans did. When they couldn't win with weapons, they won with courage. "All ships," Elena called out. "The cargo haulers are showing us how to fight. Use everything you have. Turn your ships into weapons if you have to." The battle was 3 hours old now. The aliens still had more ships, but they were starting to make mistakes. Their perfect formations were falling apart. Their ships were bumping into each other as they tried to avoid ramming attacks. Some alien captains were pulling back from the fight. They had never faced an enemy that seemed to enjoy dying if it meant hurting the other side. It was terrifying and impossible to understand. Vex Haller looked at his battle reports. His fleet was winning, but the cost was enormous. He had expected to lose maybe a dozen ships while destroying the entire human fleet. Instead, he had lost hundreds of vessels, and the humans were still fighting. "Sir," his communication officer called out. "We are receiving reports from the ground assault teams. They are requesting immediate evacuation." Vex Haller turned all his attention to his subordinate. "Evacuation? The ground assault just began an hour ago." "Yes, sir. But the humans on the planet are using tactics we have never encountered. They are not fighting to win ground. They are fighting to cause maximum casualties to our forces." The alien commander felt his confidence cracking. First, the space battle had gone wrong. Now the ground assault was failing, too. How could one primitive species cause so much trouble? He was about to learn that the humans in space were just the beginning. The real surprise was waiting for him on the planet, below. The morning sun shone bright over Earth when the sky suddenly changed. Admiral Jake Morrison was drinking his coffee on the bridge of the space station Titan when the alarms started screaming. He put down his cup and looked at the main screen. What he saw made his blood turn cold. Thousands of alien ships appeared out of nowhere. They came through what looked like holes in space itself. The ships were huge and beautiful in a scary way. They looked like they were made of crystal and light. Each ship was bigger than any building on Earth. "Sir, we have incoming ships on all sensors," said Lisa Park, the communications officer. Her hands shook as she worked at her station. "I count over 50,000 vessels." Jake felt his stomach drop. The entire human fleet had only 3,000 ships. Most of them were small fighters or cargo ships. The aliens had brought an army. "Get me a line to Earth Command right now," Jake ordered. "And someone wake up every captain in the fleet." The alien ships moved like they were dancing. They formed perfect lines and circles in space. No human fleet had ever moved so smoothly together. It was like watching one giant creature instead of thousands of separate ships. Lieutenant Commander Ryan Torres ran his hands over the tactical computer. "Sir, these readings don't make sense. Each of those ships has more firepower than our biggest battleship." Jake nodded. He had been in the military for 30 years. He had fought pirates and rebels across 3 star systems, but he had never seen anything like this. The aliens had enough ships to cover Earth's sky completely. "Admiral," Lisa called out, "they're sending us a message. It's coming through on all frequencies at once." The main screen flickered. Then a face appeared that made everyone on the bridge step back. The creature looked like a giant insect. It had 6 arms and eyes like black diamonds. When it spoke, a machine made its words sound like English. "People of Earth," the alien said. Its voice was cold and flat. "I am Commander Vexahalar of the Zephyrian Empire. We have watched your species for many years. You are violent and dangerous. You fight each other constantly. You expand into space without asking permission. This cannot continue." Jake felt anger rise in his chest. He had spent his whole life protecting Earth and its colonies. Now some bug-faced alien was telling him that humans were the problem. "We rule 12 species across this galaxy," Vexhalar continued. "We have brought peace and order to thousands of worlds. Your species threatens this peace. Therefore, we declare war upon all humans everywhere." The alien's face moved closer to the camera. "You have 12 hours to surrender completely. Lay down all weapons. Submit to our rule. If you refuse, we will destroy every human in existence. This is not a negotiation. This is a statement of fact." The screen went black. The bridge was silent except for the humming of computers. Jake looked around at his crew. They were all young. People who had joined the military to explore space and protect Earth. Now they faced the end of everything they had ever known. "Sir," Ryan said quietly. "What do we do?" Jake walked to the window that looked out at Earth. The blue and green planet turned slowly below them. Somewhere down there, his daughter was probably at school. His wife was teaching her science class. Billions of people were living their lives, not knowing that aliens wanted to kill them all. "We fight," Jake said simply. "But sir," Lisa said, "they have 50,000 ships. We have 3,000. Most of ours are cargo haulers and mining ships." Jake turned back to his crew. "Lisa, send a message to every human ship, station, and colony. Tell them what's happening. Tell them we're going to fight." "What should we tell them about our chances?" Ryan asked. Jake thought for a moment. In all of human history, people had faced impossible odds. They had fought when they should have run. They had stood up to enemies much stronger than them. Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost, but they never gave up without a fight. "Tell them the truth," Jake said. "Tell them we're probably going to lose. Tell them the aliens are stronger and smarter and have better weapons. But also tell them that we're humans. We don't surrender, we don't quit, and we sure don't let some alien bugs tell us how to live." Lisa smiled as she started typing the message. "Yes, sir." Jake opened a channel to speak to every human in space. His voice would reach mining stations in the asteroid belt, colony ships heading to distant stars, and research stations studying black holes. "This is Admiral Morrison. he began. 12 hours ago, we thought we were alone in the galaxy. Now we know we're not. Aliens have come to Earth. They want us to surrender or die. They think we're violent and dangerous. Maybe they're right. Maybe we are dangerous. But we're dangerous to people who threaten our families. He paused and looked at Earth again. I won't lie to you. We're outnumbered. Their ships are bigger and stronger than ours. In any normal fight, we would lose badly. But this isn't a normal fight. This is a fight for our children. This is a fight for our future. This is a fight for the right to exist. Jake's voice got stronger. I've read about our history. Humans have always fought when they had to. We fought with sticks against swords. We fought with swords against guns. We fought with guns against tanks. Now we'll fight with whatever we have against spaceships, because that's what humans do. The communication ended. Jake sat down in his captain's chair and looked at the alien fleet on his screen. The ships hung in space like angry stars. Soon they would start shooting. Soon the war would begin. Sir, Ryan said, the fleet is reporting in. Every ship is moving. To battle stations. Even the cargo ships? Jake asked. Especially the cargo ships. Ryan smiled. Captain Rodriguez on the Defiant says she's ready to ram any alien ship that gets too close. Jake nodded. Elena Rodriguez was one of the best captains in the fleet. If she was ready to fight impossible odds, then maybe other people would be, too. What about the colonies? Lisa asked. They're all reporting the same thing, Jake said. No one wants to surrender. The mining station at Jupiter says they're loading rocks into their cargo launchers. The research station near Saturn is turning their science equipment into weapons. Jake felt something he hadn't expected. He felt proud. These people knew they were probably going to die. They knew the aliens were stronger, but they were still ready to fight. That was the most human thing he could imagine. The alien ships started moving toward Earth. They came slowly, like they had all the time in the world. They probably thought the fight would be easy. They probably thought humans would be scared and confused. They were about to learn something important about humans. When someone threatened their home, humans didn't get scared. They got angry, and angry humans were the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Jake stood up and looked at his crew. All right, people. Let's show these aliens what happens when they pick a fight with Earth. Dr. Amanda Foster was 3 miles underground when the war started. She worked in a secret research lab hidden beneath the Rocky Mountains. For years, she had been studying pieces of alien technology that human ships had found floating in space. When the alarm started ringing, Amanda was looking at a piece of crystal that seemed to glow with its own light. She had been trying to understand how it worked for months. Now, with alien ships attacking Earth, she suddenly had an idea. General Kane, she called to the military officer who was visiting the lab. You need to see this right now, General. Peter Kane was a tough man who had fought in wars across 3 planets. He was supposed to be coordinating Earth's defenses, but Amanda's excitement made him stop and listen. What is it, Doctor? He asked. Amanda pointed at her computer screen. I've been studying alien biology from the artifacts we found. Look at these neural patterns. The Zephyrians are all connected to each other through quantum links in their brains. The general frowned. What does that mean in simple terms? It means they share everything, Amanda explained. When one alien feels pain, they all feel it. When one sees something scary, they all get scared. It's like they have one giant brain spread across thousands of bodies. General Kane felt his heart start beating faster. Are you saying we can hurt all of them by hurting one? Better than that, Amanda said with a smile. We can make them all experience the same fear and pain at the same time. Their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, Captain Danny Mitchell was learning something else about the aliens. His ship's computer had been watching how the enemy moved and fought. What it found was very interesting. Captain, his ship's AI announced, the alien fleet shows reduced effectiveness when facing unpredictable human tactics. Their coordination becomes a liability when they cannot predict responses. Danny looked at the battle reports. The aliens were still winning, but they were making more mistakes. Their perfect formations were breaking down when human ships did unexpected things. "Send a message to all ships," Danny ordered. "Tell them to stop fighting like a normal fleet. I want every captain to make up their own plan. No coordination, no formation flying, just pure chaos." The message went out across the human fleet. Captain Rodriguez smiled when she heard it. Captain Barnes laughed out loud. This was exactly how humans like to fight anyway. "All right, people," Elena called to her crew. "You heard the man. Let's show these aliens what human creativity looks like." The human fleet scattered in all directions. Some ships flew straight up. Others dove toward the planet. A few started spinning while they flew sideways. The cargo ship Fat Albert began broadcasting old Earth music at maximum volume while flying, in circles. To the aliens, it looked like the human fleet had gone completely insane. Their targeting computers couldn't track ships that moved in random patterns. Their commanders couldn't predict what the humans would do next. "Sir," the alien tactical officer reported to Vex Halar, "the human fleet has abandoned all military formations. They are acting independently with no central command." Vex Halar felt his compound eyes reflecting pure confusion. "How can they fight effectively without coordination?" "They cannot, sir. But they are not trying to fight effectively. They are trying to cause maximum damage while accepting maximum casualties." On the surface of Earth, Colonel Kevin Murphy was discovering that the aliens had made a terrible mistake. They had sent ground troops to capture major cities, but they had never fought humans on their home planet before. "Sir," his radio operator called, "the aliens have landed in Chicago, New York, London, Tokyo, and Sydney. They're demanding immediate surrender from the civilian populations." Kevin smiled grimly. "What are the civilians doing?" "Shooting at them, sir, with hunting rifles, pistols, and homemade bombs. The mayor of Chicago personally threw a grenade at an alien tank." The aliens had expected human military units to fight. They had not expected every human civilian to become a soldier. Children were throwing rocks at alien troops. Old people were setting traps in their homes. Families were working together to ambush alien patrols. Captain Nancy Walsh was leading a civilian defense unit in Chicago when the aliens landed. She was a retired police officer who had volunteered to organize neighborhood defenses. Her team was mostly teachers, mechanics, and shop owners. "Listen up," Nancy told her volunteers. "We can't beat them in a straight fight. But we know this city better than they do. We're going to make them afraid to walk down any street." Nancy's plan was simple and horrible. Instead of trying to hold territory, her people would make the aliens pay for every step forward. They booby-trapped buildings. They dug tunnels under the streets. They turned every corner into a potential ambush. The Zephyrian ground commander, Keth Zul, had conquered 14 planets in his career. He had never lost a battle, but he had never fought humans before. "Report," he demanded from his command post. "Sir, we have taken the government buildings in 5 cities," his aide reported. "But we are suffering heavy casualties. The humans are not fighting conventionally." "What do you mean?" "They are using their own civilians as weapons, sir. They have no military formations. Every human is a potential threat. They are hiding bombs in schools, hospitals, and homes. We cannot secure any area completely." Keth Zul felt something he had never experienced before: doubt. His troops were trained to fight armies, not entire populations. How do you defeat an enemy when every person is willing to die to hurt you? Back in the underground lab, Dr. Amanda Foster was putting her discovery to use. She had figured out how to broadcast signals that would interfere with the alien neural networks. "General," she called excitedly, "I've got it working. We can send feedback through their shared consciousness. Everything one alien experiences will be amplified across their entire fleet." General Kane looked at the equipment Amanda had built. "What kind of signals are you sending?" "Pain, fear, confusion, and death. Amanda said simply. "I've recorded the brain patterns of humans dying in battle. When we broadcast these patterns, every alien in the fleet will experience human death as if it were happening to them." The general felt a chill run down his spine. "That's psychological warfare at its worst." "Yes," Amanda agreed. "But they want to kill every human alive. I think we're past worrying about being nice." Amanda activated her device. Across the alien fleet, every Zephyrian suddenly felt what it was like to die as a human fighter pilot. They experienced the last moments of Lieutenant Cooper as he rammed his ship into their command vessel. They felt his joy and determination as he chose death over surrender. The effect was immediate and devastating. Alien ships started pulling back from the battle. Some captains requested permission to retreat. Others simply fled without orders. "Sir," Vex Holler's tactical officer reported with panic in his voice. "Our neural network is being contaminated with human death experiences. The crew is requesting permission to disconnect from the shared consciousness." Vex Holler knew that disconnecting would destroy their coordination completely. But staying connected meant experiencing human death over and over again. These creatures didn't just die, they chose to die. They were happy to die if it meant protecting their families. Captain Rodriguez was still fighting in space when she noticed the aliens starting to retreat. Her ship was barely functional, but her crew was still at their posts. "Elena," came a voice over the radio. "This is Jake on the Titan. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" "If you mean alien ships running away like scared children, then yes," Elena replied. Admiral Morrison's voice was filled with amazement. "We're winning. I don't know how, but we're actually winning." The truth was that the aliens were losing because they had never faced an enemy like humanity. Every species they had conquered before fought to live. Humans seemed to fight to die well. Every species they had defeated tried to minimize their losses. Humans tried to maximize their enemies' losses. Dr. Foster's psychological weapon was broadcasting continuously now. Every alien in the fleet was experiencing the memories of human soldiers who had died fighting them. They felt Cooper's determination. They felt the joy of the cargo ship crews who had turned their vessels into bombs. They experienced the pure human refusal to surrender even when facing certain death. For a species that valued order and survival above all else, it was a nightmare beyond comprehension. The humans were weaponizing their own mortality. "Sir," Kethzul reported from the surface, "I am requesting immediate evacuation of all ground forces. The humans are not fighting to win territory. They are fighting to cause maximum casualties to our forces. We cannot maintain our positions." Vex Halar looked at his battle reports. His space fleet was retreating. His ground forces were requesting evacuation. The primitive humans had somehow turned their greatest weakness, their willingness to die, into their greatest weapon. For the first time in his military career, the alien commander considered doing something that no Zephyrian had done in over 1,000 years. He considered surrender. 6 hours into the war, something broke inside the Zephyrian Empire. The shared consciousness that had made them the greatest military force in the galaxy became their worst enemy. Every alien soldier was experiencing human deaths as if they were their own. Commander Vex Haller sat in his command chair, feeling his perfect world fall apart. Through the neural link, he could feel the terror of his ground troops as they faced humans who seemed to welcome death. He could experience the confusion of his ship captains as they tried to fight an enemy that used chaos as a weapon. "Sir," his communication officer called with a shaking voice, "Battle Group 7 is requesting permission to surrender. They say they cannot continue fighting beings who weaponize their own deaths." Vex Haller felt his compound eyes reflecting disbelief. In 3,000 years of Zephyrian military history, no unit had ever requested to surrender. They were the conquerors. They were the ones who accepted surrender from others. "Denied," Vex Haller said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Order them to continue the attack." "Sir, they are not responding to orders. Several ships are fleeing the battle zone." "On Earth's surface, the situation was even worse for the aliens. Colonel Kevin Murphy was receiving reports that made him smile for the first time since the war began. "Sir," his radio operator announced, "Chicago reports the aliens are retreating from the downtown area. The civilians have them completely surrounded." "What? About New York?" Kevin asked. "Same story, sir. The aliens captured the government buildings, but they can't hold them. Every time they send out a patrol, half the soldiers don't come back." The Zephyrian ground commander, Keth Zul, was experiencing his first complete military disaster. His troops were trained to fight organized armies with predictable tactics. They had no idea how to handle an entire population that treated war like a neighborhood fight. "Report from Sector 7, one of his officers called out. "We lost another patrol. The humans dug tunnels under the street and collapsed it when our troops walked over it." "Sector 12 reports that a human child threw an explosive device at our tank," another officer added. "The child was 8 years old and smiling when he did it." Keth Zul felt his confidence shatter completely. These humans used their own children as weapons. They turned their schools into bunkers and their hospitals into trap houses. Every building could hide an enemy. Every human could be carrying a bomb. "Sir," his aide said quietly, "the troops are asking permission to return to the ships. They say the humans fight like demons." Captain Nancy Walsh was leading the defense of Chicago when she realized the aliens were breaking. Her team of volunteers had been fighting for hours, using every dirty trick they could think of. Now the enemy was starting to run. "All units," Nancy called on her radio. "They're pulling back. Don't let them regroup. Chase them all the way to their ships." Nancy's volunteers were ordinary people who had become warriors in a few hours. Teachers carried homemade bombs. Mechanics drove cars loaded with explosives straight at alien tanks. Shop owners turned their stores into fortresses. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Every human seemed willing to die to protect their city. Parents fought to protect their children. Children fought to protect their schools. Even pets seemed hostile to the invaders. In space, Dr. Amanda Foster's psychological weapon was having an even bigger impact. The alien fleet was receiving a constant broadcast of human death experiences. Every time a human pilot died fighting them, every alien felt it through their shared consciousness. "General Kane," Amanda called from her underground lab, "the alien neural network is starting to collapse. They're experiencing human emotions and it's driving them insane." General Kane looked at Amanda's equipment with amazement. "What kind of emotions?" "Joy in sacrifice, pride in protecting family, determination to never surrender. All the things that make humans dangerous when they're fighting for their homes." The general understood. The aliens fought for conquest and glory. Humans fought for survival and love. When you threatened a human's family, you didn't get a soldier. You got something much more dangerous. You got a parent with nothing left to lose. Captain Elena Rodriguez was still fighting in space when she noticed something strange. The alien ships were starting to fire on each other. Their perfect coordination was breaking down. "Jake," she called to Admiral Morrison, "are you seeing this? They're shooting their own ships." "I see it," Jake replied from the Titan station. "Their shared consciousness is collapsing. They can't tell friend from enemy anymore." The truth was even worse for the aliens. Dr. Foster's broadcasts were filling their neural network with human thoughts and emotions. Aliens who had never felt individual fear were suddenly experiencing pure human terror. But it wasn't fear of death. It was fear of failing to protect their loved ones. The alien ships began behaving erratically. Some captains disconnected from the shared consciousness and tried to fight alone. Others fled the battle entirely. A few ships started broadcasting surrender signals. "Sir," Vexhaller's tactical officer reported, "we are losing cohesion across the entire fleet. Many ships are no longer responding to commands." Vexhaller felt the neural link filling with emotions he couldn't understand. Human pilots were dying happy. Human soldiers were laughing as they charged alien positions. Human civilians were singing while they planted bombs. It was madness. It was impossible. It was terrifying. Captain Danny Mitchell was watching the alien fleet fall apart when he had an idea. His ship was badly damaged, but it could still broadcast messages. "All ships," Danny called. "Start broadcasting everything. Human music, human movies, human news. Fill their neural network with human culture." The idea spread across the human fleet. Soon, every ship was broadcasting something different. Jazz music from New Orleans, rock and roll from Detroit, country music from Nashville, classical music from Vienna. All of it hit the alien consciousness at the same time. The aliens had never experienced music before. Their culture was based on order and efficiency. Suddenly, their minds were filled with human creativity and chaos. It was like trying to drink from a fire hose of pure emotion. "Sir," the alien communication officer called to Vex Halar, "our neural network is being flooded with human cultural data. The crew is requesting permission to shut down all external inputs." But it was too late. The damage was done. The alien fleet was no longer an organized military force. It was thousands of individual ships whose crews were experiencing human emotions for the first time. Some aliens felt human love and wanted to stop fighting. Others felt human anger and started shooting at everything. A few experienced humor and began laughing uncontrollably during combat. Admiral Morrison watched the alien fleet scatter across space. Some ships were fleeing toward deep space. Others were flying in circles. A few were broadcasting what sounded like alien music. "Elena," Jake called to Captain Rodriguez, "I think we broke them." "How do you break an entire alien empire?" Elena asked. "By showing them what it means to be human," Jake replied. On the surface, Colonel Murphy was receiving similar reports. The alien ground forces were evacuating from every city. They loaded their troops onto transport ships and fled toward orbit. "Sir," his radio operator called, "the aliens are leaving Chicago. The civilians are cheering in the streets." "What about the other cities?" "Same everywhere, sir. The aliens are running away from civilian populations armed with hunting rifles and kitchen knives." Nancy Walsh stood in the ruins of downtown Chicago and watched alien ships flying away. Her volunteer team had somehow defeated professional soldiers with advanced weapons. They had done it by fighting like humans instead of like soldiers? "Nancy," one of her volunteers called, "we did it. We actually did it." Nancy nodded, but she was thinking about something bigger. These aliens had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had conquered dozens of species, but they had never fought humans before. "We showed them something new," Nancy said quietly. "We showed them what happens when you threaten a species that loves their families more than they fear death." In his underground lab, Dr. Foster was watching the alien neural network collapse completely. Her psychological weapon had done more than she had hoped. It hadn't just confused the aliens, it had changed them. "General," she called excitedly, "the alien consciousness is fragmenting. They're becoming individuals instead of a collective mind." General Kane felt a chill run down his spine. "What does that mean?" "It means we didn't just defeat them," Amanda explained. "We freed them. For the first time in their history, they're thinking for themselves instead of sharing one giant brain." The war was ending, but not the way anyone had expected. The humans hadn't destroyed the alien empire. They had accidentally liberated it by showing the aliens what individual consciousness felt like. Commander Vex Halar sat alone in his command chair, feeling truly alone for the first time in his life. The neural link was gone. His perfect connection to his species was broken, but strangely, he didn't feel lost. He felt something new, something the humans called freedom. And for the first time in his military career, he was about to do something no Zephyrian commander had ever done. He was going to ask for peace. 7 hours and 36 minutes after declaring war on humanity, Commander Vex Halar did something that no Zephyrian military leader had done in over 1,000 years. He opened a communication channel to request a ceasefire. Admiral Jake Morrison was surprised when the alien signal came through. He had been preparing for another wave of attacks. Instead, the enemy commander appeared on his screen looking tired and confused. "Human Admiral," Vex Haller said slowly. His voice was different now, less mechanical and more personal. "I wish to discuss terms for ending this conflict." Jake looked at the alien with suspicion. "Terms? A few hours ago, you wanted to destroy every human in existence." "That was before I understood what your species truly is," Vex Halar replied. "We have made a terrible mistake. We thought you were primitive and violent. We did not realize you were something far more dangerous." "What's that supposed to mean?" Jake asked. Vex Halar's compound eyes reflected something that looked almost like respect. "You fight for love. Every other species we have conquered fought for survival or territory or resources. But you fight to protect your families. There is no defeating an enemy who considers dying for their loved ones to be a victory." Captain Elena Rodriguez joined the communication from her damaged destroyer. Her ship was barely functional, but she was still alive after fighting impossible odds for 7 hours. "You came here to kill us," Elena said simply. "You wanted to wipe out our entire species. Why should we trust you now?" "Because we cannot win," Vex Haller admitted. "My fleet is broken. My ground forces are fleeing. My people are experiencing individual consciousness for the first time in our history, and many of them no longer wish to fight." Jake felt confused. "Individual consciousness?" Dr. Amanda Foster's voice came through from her underground lab. "Admiral, I can explain. My psychological broadcasts didn't just hurt them. They broke their shared consciousness. The aliens are becoming individuals instead of a collective mind." General Kane added his voice to the conversation. "Dr. Foster's weapon did more than we hoped. We didn't just defeat the aliens, we accidentally freed them from their own system." Vex Haller nodded slowly. "For 3,000 years, my people have shared one consciousness. We thought the same thoughts. We felt the same emotions. We never questioned our leaders because we were our leaders. But your broadcast showed us what it means to think for ourselves." Colonel Kevin Murphy called in from the surface. "The alien ground forces have completely evacuated from all major cities. They're not fighting anymore. They're just leaving." Captain Nancy Walsh added her report from Chicago. "The aliens who stayed behind aren't fighting either. Some of them are trying to help repair the damage they caused. It's like they're different people now." Jake thought about what he was hearing. The war had started with aliens trying to destroy humanity. Now it was ending with humans accidentally liberating the aliens from their own empire. "What do you want from us?" Jake asked Vex Haller. "Permission to leave peacefully," the alien commander replied. "Many of my people want to return home and experience individual life for the first time. Others want to explore the galaxy as free beings instead of tools of the Empire." Elena looked at her tactical display. The alien fleet was scattered across the solar system. Many ships were already heading toward deep space. Others were just sitting motionless, as if their crews were trying to figure out what to do next. "What about your empire?" Elena asked. "What happens to the 12 species you rule?" Vex Haller was quiet for a moment. "I believe they will also want their freedom once they learn what we have learned. Your species has shown us that there is a way to live without constant control and domination." Dr. Foster's excited voice came through the communication. "Admiral, this is incredible. We didn't just win a war. We started a revolution. The alien neural network is spreading our broadcast to other worlds. Billions of aliens across the galaxy are experiencing individual consciousness for the first time." Jake felt the weight of what was happening. Humanity had been fighting for survival. Instead, they had accidentally become the spark that would free an entire galactic empire. "General Kane," Jake called. "What's your recommendation?" The general was quiet for a moment. "Admiral, we've won something bigger than a military victory. We've shown the galaxy what freedom looks like. I recommend we let them go in peace." Captain Rodriguez nodded in agreement. "They could have destroyed us easily if they had kept fighting. The fact that they're asking for peace instead of regrouping for another attack tells me something important has changed. Nancy Walsh's voice came from Chicago. Admiral, I've been talking to some of the aliens who stayed behind. They're scared and confused, but they're not hostile anymore. They keep asking me what it's like to make your own decisions. Jake made his choice. Commander Vex Haller, we accept your request for peace, but we have conditions. Name them, the alien replied. First, you help us repair the damage from this war. Second, you share your technology with us so we can better defend ourselves in the future. Third, you spread the word to other species that Earth is under human protection. Vex Haller nodded. These terms are acceptable, but I must warn you. What has happened here will not stay secret. Other species across the galaxy will learn that humans defeated the Zephyrian Empire in less than 8 hours. You will become either very famous or very feared. Elena smiled grimly. Let them come. We'll show them the same thing we showed you. What is that? Vex Haller asked. That humans don't fight to conquer, Elena replied. We fight to protect our homes, and there's nothing more dangerous in the universe than a parent defending their children. Dr. Foster interrupted the conversation with excitement. Admiral, I'm getting reports from deep space monitoring stations. The alien neural network has spread our broadcasts to dozens of star systems. We're receiving communication requests from species we've never heard of. Jake felt his head spinning. What kind of communications? They're asking for help, Amanda replied. They want to know how to achieve individual freedom like the Zephyrians did. We accidentally started a galactic revolution. General Kane's voice was filled with amazement. Admiral, we need to think about this carefully. Humanity is about to become the most important species in the galaxy whether we want to or not. Vex Haller spoke again. The human general is correct. What you have done today will change everything. Species that have been enslaved for millennia will look to Earth for guidance. You have become something my people never expected. What's that? Jake asked. Leaders, Vex Haller replied simply. Not through conquest, but through example. You have shown the galaxy that freedom is possible. As the alien fleet began its exodus from the solar system, Jake Morrison realized that everything had changed. Humanity had been fighting for survival against impossible odds. Instead, they had won something far more valuable than a military victory. They had won the respect of the stars themselves. Captain Rodriguez watched the alien ships disappear into hyperspace and thought about the future. Earth would never be the same. Humanity would never be the same. They had accidentally become the beacon of freedom for an entire galaxy. Elena, Jake called over the communication system. What do you think happens next? Elena looked at Earth, turning slowly below her damaged ship. Somewhere down there, her family was safe because humans had refused to surrender. Somewhere out in the galaxy, billions of aliens were experiencing freedom for the first time because humans had fought for their own. I think we're about to find out what it really means to be human, Elena replied. Not just for us, but for everyone. The war that was supposed to destroy humanity in a few hours had instead lasted less than 8 hours and established humans as the most feared and respected species in the galaxy. The aliens had declared war on humans and regretted it within hours. But humanity had gained something far more valuable than victory. They had gained the chance to show the universe that freedom was worth fighting for, even against impossible odds. And in doing so, they had proven that sometimes the smallest species could cast the biggest shadow. The lesson would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. Never underestimate a species that has spent its entire history turning disadvantages into weapons and obstacles into opportunities. And never, ever threaten their families unless you are prepared to face an enemy that considers dying for their cause to be an acceptable victory condition. Humanity had not just survived their first galactic war. They had redefined what it meant to fight for freedom. The stars themselves had taken notice, and they would never forget.